Hey, look at us, mate. Hey, isn't this
What's
isn't
up?
this a bit this is a bit professional, isn't it?
Yeah, well, until they see our faces, it's professional, mate. Up until then, yeah, the veil has
It's
been
the
lifted.
it's a new and improved Hockey Hype Australia podcast slash live streaming service coming to
Yeah,
your screens.
yeah. No, we welcome you along. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, um, yeah, welcome to the stream, the weekly wraparound. This is tell us what's the purpose of the show, do you?
It's
And
just a recap.
that way I can learn too, mate.
It's a recap of the weekend's action. So we're kicking it off with the A-Dub. So the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League's kicked off on the weekend. If it's a great success, this live stream service that we're going to be running, we'll continue this on through the AI season, and even if we have national championships, world championships, we could jump on and do a live stream after a U18s game or something like that. We're looking to do it on a Sunday evening. Couldn't do it yesterday because A Leagues is back and I was at Melbourne Victory watching them have a win. But Sunday evenings it will be well, that's a good start. Sunday evenings will be the weekly wraparound, and we'll have a discussion about the weekend's actions, what we thought of it, and we'll also hopefully get some comments from people across the live stream.
Yeah, so feel free if you're in the chat, just let us know that we're not speaking into the void. Say hi. But the first, I guess. Oh, sorry, Dee.
Yeah, I was going to say
there.
that's who we are, hockeyhypeaustralia.com.au. So check out the website, check out what we're doing there with all our articles and news and all the links to our podcasts.
Yeah. So A-Dub kicked off. The first games of the year were Melbourne versus Sydney. Well, that was the first one on Saturday afternoon. Dee, talk us through it. What did you see in Melbourne, Sydney?
Melbourne continued their form on from the exhibition game that they had against the Ducks. They were out of the blocks really fast. They were all over Sydney in that first period. I actually thought Sydney did quite well though to sort of minimise a bit of the early pressure from the ice. I felt that the Sirens had done a bit of their homework and they were pushing the Melbourne forwards wide, their wingers, not letting Butler and players like that actually get time into the offensive zone, and they were making it really difficult for them early on. That was sort of what I seen, and it was a really good contest. And the Sirens, they showed a lot of ticket to come back like they did.
Yeah, so I might cop some stick for this, but last year I was pretty. I wasn't sure how the Sirens were going to come out of COVID, and after having lost, players like Amelia Matheson, who was a big part of their defense, having lost Stephanie Cochrane, the captain, to the Melbourne Ice. We should call the Melbourne Ice the Melbourne Sirens. And lost a few other players, and then obviously this season they've lost both goaltenders, Tina Girdler, who represents Australia, and Sarah Dogramache as well. So it's a lot of questions, and losing Shana Godfrey as well to Melbourne. That's pretty huge. So I was surprised that they managed to stick with Melbourne for as long as they did, because on paper you look at that Melbourne Ice roster and there's not a lot of holes.
No, they look stacked. They really do. They look like they run deep as well. The ice.
Yeah, Yeah, it's like pick your poison. Those top two lines, like you've the forwards that they have available in the top six, is ridiculous. So it's good for Sydney for matching up.
Like when I was looking at one of the power play units that the Ice were running, and it was Julian, Godfrey, Butler, Moore, Pullen, and you just look at that and you just think, geez, they're just stacked. They've got a power play unit that's just really strong. So they were really impressive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then the Sunday game. So the Saturday game was 6-5. I believe Sarah Edney scored 4 goals for Sydney. She she is unreal, Sarah Edney. There was a goal that she scored on the power play on the Saturday game, which I think was textbook um, switching sides on the power play. She flipped the puck across. I think the commentator mentioned that I think he thought that she was going for like a centering pass, but it was just to flip the play. And three Melbourne Ice defenders or skaters ended up going to that left side of the ice, and then Sarah Edney was able to just skate backdoor for a tap in. Just unbelievable, a good smarts. But you would like to have Sarah Edney not have to do all of the scoring. I think Sydney, you can't this season after losing Godfrey. You're not going to win too many games if you need to score 6.
I agree. And it seems like it's only one round, but it seems like there will be some high scoring games too across the league. So, but Edney was unreal. The 5 goals, 2 games is you can't ask for much more.
Yeah. We've got Andrew John Egan in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, very good point about Godfrey. Very impressive skating both ways. Godfrey, I think she collected her 300th point last season or something, AWIHL point last season. She's an absolute weapon. And yeah, it's even the first goal that she scored, which was off the Aparicio shot. And she was just Johnny on the spot for the rebound. Like she knows the game so well, Shana Godfrey. I think JD refers to her as the apex predator. She's just she's terrific on the ice. Phil Taylor with another comment. 6 seemed to be the popular winner score this round. What do you reckon, Doogie?
Yeah, I agree. Phil's got his finger on the pulse. I just think there's enough scoring power across the league where we're going to see these high scoring games. When it comes to offense, all of the teams, they seem to have 2 or 3 players that can just know where the back of the net is and they're able to put the puck away. So I'm predicting that these sort of score lines we'll see across the league. I don't think you're going to see many sort of 3-2 games or 2-1 games. I think there will be some high scoring both sides.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it here first. Next week's Melbourne versus Perth games will be a pair of 2-1 games.
100%.
Anything else you wanted to mention about the Sydney Melbourne games before we move on?
Not really. I think it's obviously only the first round. There's a bit of feeling out as well with a bit of change across the rosters. I think they're going to be better for it in the long run. I don't think you can. It's not like alarm bells after the first round. Oh my God, Sirens are 0 and 2. I don't think it's alarm bells. I think there's still enough quality there for Sydney. And it's really strange because they're defending champions. It's a weird one when you see them start off 0-2 as defending champions. I don't think people should be worried though.
Yeah, and they've had a coaching change, so it'll take some time for Gabriel Blado in Sydney to be able to get his tactics and messages through. Curtis Clousters, of course, new coach for the Melbourne Ice, so two the top two teams last season with coaching changes.
And actually, Andrew Egan, he speaks highly of Curtis. So Andrew, who was in the comments before, he's doing his coaching certificates at the moment. So Andrew's getting into coaching, so which is good. So, and he was there at a coaching, sort of like a coaching panel, coaching sort of conference type thing. And he speaks highly of Curtis. And from what I've heard after talking to Shana Godfrey, that he's been really good for the ice. Brings a lot of professionalism and different sort of ways of looking at the game.
Yeah.
But one thing actually, before we move on, one thing I did actually like from the game from the weekend was because I'd never actually seen him before, and I don't know if I'm just missing this or they've been around for a while. But those siren sweaters that actually had sirens across the front, and it looked like it had the Sydney Harbour, the Opera House skyline. I think they were really nice.
Yeah, it was some players were wearing those, some were wearing the old Sirens jerseys. So a bit of a quilt on the ice. But yeah, we'll see if they continue. They had the New Jersey vibes to them.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought that as well. Yeah.
Let's move on to Adelaide Brisbane. This is the matchup that I was pretty excited about because Adelaide last season they had a brutal start to the year. Like you play I think Melbourne Ice 2 games straight up, and then you play Sydney twice, and then you go to Melbourne and play them twice. They were 0-6 to start the season, but those final 2 games in Melbourne, they pushed the ice pretty hard. And then they ended up, I think they took 2 games off the Perth Inferno out of 4, lost to Brisbane Lightning twice in the season closes. And the Brisbane Lightning, of course, are a team on the rise, but a team that have question marks in goal for me, just because Imogen Perry is taking a year off, and she was unbelievable last year. Tell us what did you think about Adelaide Brisbane?
I thought that the commentator was superb. That's the that's the first thing. So if people don't know, Gordon was on the commentary, doing it one out, Gordon, which is always tough, but you done well. I was so rapt for the Rush to get that opening day win, and they battled hard for it, and they got the goal at the end to win the game. And I was just after the year they had last year, and you could see the improvement last season that they had, and a lot of their young players. Because I'm a big fan of the Rush's young talent that they got there coming out of Adelaide, and they had a really good, as you said before, they had the last 2 games of the season was really good, and I was actually really, really rapt for them to get that opening day win.
Thanks, Christian. Shout out to Christian too for messaging me, so I didn't look like a complete and total fool. I was referring to the starting goaltender for the Rush as being Archie Smith, when in fact it was Amelia Knott. Was making her debut. Esports Desk had Archie Smith, or they had Archie's former name there. So I was going with that. I had the team sheets that I had did not have numbers, so it was a real struggle. And then I got a message from Candace Mitchell with the Adelaide Rush, telling me that I've been referring to Sierra Moroniuk as wearing number 34, as that's the jersey number she will wear, but she hasn't arrived yet, and it was Diana Glass. So apologies to Diana Glass. Amelia Knott as well. But we got there in the end. But yeah, I thought Adelaide were well worth the win. They came from behind. They were down 4-1 at one point, the worst lead in hockey. And the Rush came back to tie it up in in the third, and they scored the last goal of each period, and to win it in overtime was sensational. It's down
I
as a
was
power play goal,
yeah, okay.
but the penalty was called with 1:10 left in the third, and the goal was scored 52 seconds into overtime. So that's 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I lost you for a second. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, the Caitlin Molthano was named the player of the game for Adelaide in that first one. Kirsty Venus was everywhere in that game, and Amelia Knott kept the team in the match, made some pretty important saves, good rebound control as well from Amelia Knott. So look forward to seeing her, and she was of course named to the under-18 team for the second year in a row.
I think Tupper's a really good player.
Yeah.
Looks really good, really smart, knows where to position herself on the blue line, especially can get the puck into really dangerous positions. Seems to have good vision, so I think that's a really good signing.
They have 2 more imports coming. Can I tell you this? Reagan Petrowski is also coming, and if she played on the same team as Maya Tupper with Adrian College, I think if memory serves, NCAA Division III.
Yep.
If she is anywhere near as good as Maya Tupper, as she is a forward, the Adelaide Rush are going to look pretty good. Like they are getting some hefty reinforcements. Plus, you get the growth of Alana Holub, Amber Bedell, of Tori Cebulski. So they've got a good young kind of a good mix. Moving to Brisbane, I think if you're a Brisbane fan, that second game, Katie Meyer, her performance was fantastic, and she was able to collect her first ever AWIHL victory. So congratulations to Katie Meyer. For Brisbane, Katrina Rapchuk was everywhere on the blue line. Lindsay Kalinick was sensational at both ends. She is engaged everywhere. Like 1 minute she's in the offensive zone, the next minute she's leading the breakout out of the defensive zone. She's just an unreal skater. So, I mean, Brisbane look like they have a good team too.
And Courtney Mahoney, just unreal.
Yeah.
Oh, just a shot on Courtney. You see these sort of goals like in the NHL and stuff where you see goals like Jack Hughes and that will sort of shoot him from down low and just angles that you just think you can't get him in. That's Courtney Mahoney. Like in the AW, if you give Courtney Mahoney just a little bit of daylight, lights out. She's going to get in that. She's going to score. Doesn't matter where she's from. Just unbelievable shot.
Yeah, there were a few shots scored from distance in the Brisbane Adelaide games. So it was a real interesting one. I wonder what the lighting is like in Brisbane, in the Boondall Ice World. Like it seemed to goaltenders had maybe a little bit of trouble tracking the puck when it was coming from distance, especially with a little bit of elevation. So yeah, it'd be interesting to get one of the goaltenders' perspectives on it. But yeah, a couple of really good games.
It can't be any worse than the daylight coming through at Macquarie.
Yeah.
Imagine being a
it's
goaltender down that end.
Oh
It's
God.
tough.
Yeah. The ice melting in the sun. Yeah. So yeah, this is any predictions for the season based on what you've seen in this huge sample size of 4 games?
Just one before we do the predictions. One I want to mention about the ice and the sirens. I was really impressed with Georgia Moore. I thought Georgia Moore had an unbelievable game on the blue line for the ice.
Yeah. And captain this season, which I think is great. Georgia Moore has been around for a long time. She's got a wicked slap shot from the circle as well. When she gets a hold of it on the power play. So yeah, I'm excited to see her leading in the captain's position. But yeah, she's a great player, very smart. That first goal that she scored, where she recognised that she could come into that gap, into the space that was left in the middle of the ice. Yeah, just a smart player and a great human. What else do you want to talk about, Gigi?
I think we're going to do some predictions start for the rest of the season. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's go, mate. Let's go.
And if we got people in the comments, we should get some comments, get some predictions from people in the get your comments in. Let us know your predictions for what are we doing, Gordon? Champions, or what are we doing?
Let's do best goaltender. Let's do best rookie, best defender, best forward, MVP, and end of year champion.
Yeah, you're not asking for much.
Or you can just give us your top three players for the season, and end of year champion.
So, who are your top three players for the season?
My top three. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, hey, Phil, under pressure. Phil, Phil, you work. Phil loves pressure. Phil does his best work under pressure.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's a weapon. He's a weapon with the photo editing on the go. So I think Andrew's offered to supply us with some categories. I think top three. I
think Andrew's a future guest on the wraparound as well. Just quietly.
I reckon he's a bit of an all ice hockey leagues guru.
Yeah. He's one of those weirdos that sits up at 3 a.m. in the morning and just watching like Icelandic hockey or something like that.
So top three players for me. I'm going to be a little bit. I'm going to go Elizabeth Scala with Perth because she led the league in points last season. So that seems to me like an easier pick. If I just go with Elizabeth, I am going to go. I'm going to go Danielle Butler for the Melbourne Ice. I think she had a bit of a quiet weekend by her standards. I think by this time last year after week one, she'd had like 9 goals or something ridiculous. And I'm gonna go with Lindsay Kalinick for Brisbane. She may not lead in points, but my goodness, she's involved everywhere on the ice for that team. So those are my three. What about you, mate?
I'm going to go with Sarah Edney. I've just got a feeling that Sarah's going to have a big year with the departures, retirements that the club's had. It almost feels like it's sort of jump on my back and let's go. I feel like that's the sort of year that Sarah's going to have. So I think Sarah's going to have a really, really big year. Courtney Mahoney. I love Courtney. I think Courtney's going to have a really big year as well. And just one that's going to be sort of, I suppose it's not. I'm going to go Archie Smith in the top 3.
Yep. Good calls. And champion. Do you want me to start with the champion?
Yep.
I'm going to go Perth Inferno.
Oh.
So I know it's a big call because Perth have never finished higher than 3rd. They've never made it to a grand final, whereas the other teams have. The Goannas finished 2nd, is their best. I'm going to go Perth. I think that with the addition of Sarah Salmons and Jamie McKenzie, with, while keeping Elizabeth Scala, Molly Lukoviak, Michelle Clark-Crumpton. I think they're a pretty strong team if they can be consistent.
Yeah, it's a big call. Trying to get into Graham Hyde's good books, potentially.
Look, it's I wouldn't.
I think Gordon's frozen.
Oh yeah, it's my internet. It's
a good start. It's a good start here to this live.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, mate?
Yeah. I'm going to go Melbourne Ice, as much as it pains me to say that, as a Mustangs fan. But I think when they bat really deep, the addition of Godfrey as well, I think that if you're going to beat them, and it's going to sound strange because that's the name of the game, but if you score 4, it seems like they're going to score 5. If you score 5, they're going to score 6. That's the sort of feeling that I get. So it's going to take an effort, I think, to get over them in an offensive sort of area.
Yeah, and like Melbourne Ice, I mean, you look at the goaltending, and there's not a lot of teams that can match the goaltending of the Ice. They've got 3 really good goaltenders: Kayla Best, Michaela Pearce, Janelle Carson. So, goaltending does win championships, I guess. You build from the net out. Is that the GM philosophy? Not for Toronto, but for real teams. So yeah, I think on paper, as I said before, like they've got the strongest lineup, but the game isn't one on paper, I've heard.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us know your thoughts in the comments if you like. What's next, Doogie?
We got next weekend's fixture matchup.
Yes, so we have next weekend is the Melbourne Ice and the Perth Inferno, which I mentioned. I'm just having a look. I forget offhand if
Ice HQ?
yeah, that's right. It's Ice HQ. I was struggling to think where it was being played, but yes, Ice HQ. So well done to Ice HQ for getting making the rink available. There were O'Brien came back and said we don't have the availability. Ice HQ went and changed things around. Yeah, so it'll be brilliant. I know that they're looking forward to putting on a real spectacle. If you had a chance to see the exhibition match with the fan and crowd engagement initiatives that they had during the game, it was fantastic. So looking forward to see what they have in store for Perth.
Yeah, they do a good job out of there. And you've seen it with the PHL too.
And Sean O'Connor is backing me in. Thank you, Sean. Thanks, mate.
Is that for this weekend or is that overall? So that's what we don't know.
Let's not clarify that, Sean. I want that to remain ambiguous, so I can use that comment for my own advantage. But yeah,
I do agree with Andrew's comment that we had up on the screen just before. The Ice looked ready to go. Showed plenty on the road to get started. I think coming back to Melbourne too, they'll be primed to have a big game. But this is going to be really, really good. I hope the stream and I hope people get out to the rink, because it's 2 teams, and as you said about Perth, they're gonna be really strong this season. So it's going to be a really good test.
Yeah, and Perth have good goaltending too. So they've got the capacity to win games. So it should be a good season. It should be a good weekend next weekend. Make sure that you are watching those games. They start 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the Saturday, and then 2:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on the Sunday. So very reasonable times, Doogie.
Who starts in net for the Inferno?
I mean, you'd have to say Sasha King
Mm,
starting goal for the
yeah,
Saturday. That's yeah.
I'd assume the same. Do you think it'd just be backing up Saturday, Sunday?
I think Sunday they might put in was it Vivian Vu who's the backup? Yeah, Vivian Vu. So I reckon the thing is like if you look at I know for fans they're like, well, why don't you just put in the so-called starting goaltender or look for a starting goaltender? But if you're paying to play in this league and you're traveling from Perth to Melbourne, you're starting a game. Like, well, you,
Yeah,
at the start of the season, you should be starting a game.
yeah,
So generally they'll split it. I think I'll have to get confirmation, but I think there's a change to the rules for how many games you need to play before you are eligible for finals. I think it used to be something like six or somewhere around there. It's a 16 game season now, so automatically that's the ratio of 6 to 6. It's lowered even more.
yeah, yeah.
Ah, thank you. Look at that. Look at that. I've got a fan. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was
No,
packing it. I was packing it with the commentary. I was absolutely packing it. But um, my color commentator, he was going to be with me, just completely bailed on me. So yeah, Doogie will be joining me for commentary. Hopefully, if they keep me on, they might have been so disgusted with my performance that I'll no longer be on board. But if I did make it, then Doogie will be joining me as a color commentator.
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it, to jumping on. I've never done commentary before. Something I've always thought about. It's funny. I actually thought about hitting up the Mustangs about doing radio commentary for them, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm really excited about it.
yeah, yeah.
Could
Should
the
be good.
AI could the AI could be the AI and change finals eligibility during Sean.
Don't know what you're talking about there, Sean. Just dream team. Thank you. Yeah. So, anything else we wanna talk about? Do you any if you want us to talk about anything, let us know in the comments. If you want us to include something going forward that you think would be kind of cool, this is as much your show as it is ours. So if it's unsuccessful, it's as much your fault as it is. No. So yeah, no. But honestly, let us know. We're happy to include whatever segments are appropriate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
What's
well,
next, Iggy?
hopefully it picks up and people get around it. I think it's the whole idea was to get on here straight after the games and interact with fans and get their comments in there about their team and what they've seen on the weekend. So hopefully it continues to build, and we get eyeballs on these live streams.
Yeah, and the idea, as you say, is to kind of we'll go live kind of 10-15 minutes after the final game on the Sunday. Um, and then this acts as almost like a recap show. Um, yeah, so it'll be interesting to get different people's perspectives.
And eventually we'll get a live studio set up to do these shows from.
Yep, yep, yep. We're rolling in the endorsement deal, so we'll definitely be able to set something up there.
Spam AI fans with all complaints.
Yeah. Yeah, if you do have a complaint, yeah, let Sean know and AI fans. As the moderator, he'd love to hear your thoughts. Will that do it for us?
Yeah,
Do you? What do you
I
reckon?
think I think so. 35 minutes.
Yeah.
We initially said it'd be a quick 15-minute wraparound, but I think there was a few more comments. Maybe we can't go. One more comment. It's great to see
Yeah,
a summary of the
yeah,
weekend to discuss what happened. There's lots of live commentary during games. There's not a lot in this format until the next weekend.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
There's a bit of a gap. So yeah, it'll be nice to get some coverage and sustain some coverage for the league. The athletes that we have and the level of play that we have over here is you know it needs more coverage. It screams for more coverage. What do you reckon, Jiggy?
Not yet. Well,
Not
wait,
yet.
Sean, create a beer and you can sponsor us.
The Inferno will win. Quote me, beer.
Yeah.
By Sean
Yeah.
O'Connor Brewers. But no, thank you for joining. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And well, we won't tell you what to do. You're adults. You can do what you like. But thank you for participating as well.
And I'm just looking forward. We're going to be doing another Backcheck Spears and podcast episode because there's a bit of we don't want to rehash. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks heaps. We don't want to rehash all the A-Dub stuff, but there's stuff that we can talk about on the podcast and have a bit of a laugh and have a beer with the announcement. There was a good segue, Gordon, actually, with the talent announcement of the U18 team. Bob Turner as well. The AI schedule's out. So there's a little bit to talk about and have a laugh. So we'll do another episode of Backcheck Spears and Banter as well.
Yeah, so this is going to be more AWIHL focused throughout the season, and then the podcast is where we'll talk about all some AW stuff as well, and all the other stuff that we have going on. Awesome.
All right, is that it, mate? I think we're done.
That's it.
How does Gooch sign off?
I've got no idea. I've never made it to the end of one of his live streams. No.
We'll have to get Kerry on too. He's another guest we'll have to get on.
Oh, yes. So at this point, Sean O'Connor, that's a really good point. The penalty box is going to get a bit of a workout looking at that team. But the ACT team does look immensely strong for Brown. So Brown stats up soon. So stay tuned to our socials for that. We'll share some posts and the games will be streamed. It's a hectic schedule. It is a hectic schedule. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
It's quite ridiculous that roster.
It is. Yeah. Thanks, Christian. Thanks for your patience too last weekend with the commentary shenanigans. And congratulations to Amelia for her first AWIHL victory on debut as well. Yeah.
Can I just say, so a little bit of I suppose announcement, a little bit of Sarah will be joining us throughout the season too with these live streams for weekly Wraparound. So we are excited to have Sarah come on.
Yeah. No, it's going to be great to get some insight from someone that actually knows what they're talking about. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So no, it should be great. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right, that's it.
I reckon I've got nothing, mate. We've already gone almost 40 minutes.
Yeah. They're sick of listening to us talk, I think.
No, but thanks for the love. We'll make sure you catch Melbourne Ice versus Perth Inferno. It's going to be a cracking set of games at Ice HQ. Stay tuned to AWIHL socials. It's thank you for Sportscast for coming on board. My goodness, the Saturday replays. I think NSA Hockey is sponsoring the replays on Saturdays. Fantastic stuff. So thank you to them. The people that sponsor hockey, you just want to give them a great big hug because that's what the game needs. So yes, fire on ice.
Sponsor us.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, that's it for us. We'll catch you next Sunday. We'll put out a link and a time for the live stream next Sunday night following the Melbourne Ice Perth Inferno game. Enjoy the weekend. Get out to a rink or watch the stream. And that's it, Gordon.
Thanks, mate.